on Carolina Week, an update on the UNC Harvard affirmative action lawsuit and the ongoing abortion protests in the Quad.
And as we move into the Hallow weekend, we'll tell you what to expect from road closures to celebrations and costumes, maybe even our own.
All this and more next on Carolina Week.
Welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Stephen Schlink.
And I'm Kelly Kendall. Next week, the U.S. Supreme Court will discuss a pair of lawsuits challenging affirmative action at Harvard University and UNC Chapel Hill. Both universities will defend themselves in these multi-year lawsuits filed by a group called Students for Fair Admissions. The conservative legal action group includes thousands of rejected applicants, prospective students, and parents who say race and ethnicity should not be considered by schools in the admissions process. The trial court initially decided in UNC's favor, ruling that the university does not discriminate against white and Asian American students, but the group appealed the case all the way up to the Supreme Court. Carolina stands by its admissions policies, with leaders stating that they adhere closely to constitutional requirements and the High Court's directives. Chancellor Kevin Guskowitz said in a statement that the university, quote, may consider race or ethnicity as one factor among many, but only if a student chooses to share that information, end quote. Harvard and UNC will each get 1 hour for oral arguments on October 31st. A decision from the Supreme Court is expected in 2023.
We've all noticed the increased prices when getting gas or even grocery shopping, and some say this could lead to a recession. I spoke with an economist at NC State to find out when we could see some relief.
People across the country are spending more on everyday items, something UNC freshman Willow Grossman has witnessed firsthand.
I've noticed that the Target on Franklin Street has increased prices. They've always been more expensive than like a normal Target should be, but I feel like it's getting worse.
And it's not just Target. Grossman also noticed gas is climbing.
When I went home this past weekend, it was more expensive now than it was like a month ago.
Grossman has a point. According to AAA, regular gas across the state has climbed by 13 cents a gallon in the last month and risen 40 cents over the last year. This leads some to believe we could be going into a recession. But NC State professor Ai Shidori says it's not that simple.
In order to decide whether there is a recession or not, economists look at several indicators.
Some of these include the GDP and the labor market, both of which are strong at the moment, according to Shidori, but we might not be in the clear yet. Shidori claims the Federal Reserve's efforts to combat inflation could actually lead to a recession. But there is some good news.
Because of the strength of the labor market, the recession probably would not be very severe.
Still, for students like Grossman, they want to see relief.
I haven't seen a lot of great stuff, like great movements coming from the state and national government to help relieve anything.
We reached out to Congresswoman Deborah Ross several times for comment. Her team said they would send a quote, but we're still waiting to receive it. In Chapel Hill, Stephen Schlink reporting.
Professor Shidori says she encourages everyone to set some money aside just in case.
An anti-abortion group called the Center for Bioethical Reform is holding protests on campus. The organization installed a series of banners showing graphic images of aborted fetuses on the Quad. In response, many students held a counter-protest using signs and umbrellas to cover the banners. I spoke with some bystanders and protesters about their thoughts.
Disgust was my first reaction. Anger came after, I guess. And then I've just been here since then.
Being a Jewish student on campus, it's really hard for me to look at this and not get angry. And I am angry.
I was really happy to see the counter protests, and I think that they're doing the right thing by covering up a lot of these signs and trying to prevent people from having to see these images without consent.
It kind of just arose spontaneously. Most of us just people coming out of class who felt horror, disgust, and felt unsafe. So we just are bucking it.
The Center for Bioethical Reform did not share how long they will be protesting on campus.
There's a video we have detained, allegedly showing a UNC police officer kneeling on a person for more than 3 minutes while being detained.
The arrest happened Monday evening outside the undergraduate library. According to the police crime log, this happened in response to a report of drug use around 9:10 p.m.
In a statement from UNC Media Relations, officers approached an individual not affiliated with the school that was using drugs. They arrested the person for possession of marijuana and resisting arrest. The university also says UNC Police Chief Brian James reviewed the footage and determined no departmental policies were broken by his officers.
There are some pretty new safety improvements on the roads of Chapel Hill. Reporter Halsey Ziegler has the story.
Chapel Hill Public Transportation added new bike lanes on East Main Street and West Franklin Street. Police logs revealed that 73 bike accidents occurred over the past 5 years in the area. Nearly a quarter of those crashes happened in 2022, setting an all-time record. Bicyclist Noe Bogan says that these road improvements were long overdue.
I think it's definitely about time for safety precautions to be placed around campus and just around Chapel Hill. I've noticed a lot of more people on scooters and electric bikes and regular bikes like mine. And all of those people, most of the time, have to weave around pedestrians and cars in order to get to places as fast as they can.
For off-campus students that don't have access to other transportation, these lanes are crucial to getting to class.
I think it's really important that UNC has safe roads because as a student who lives farther away from campus and all of my classes, I need a way that is safe, reliable, and affordable.
These bike paths are a part of Chapel Hill's mobility and connectivity plan. Bergen Watterson, transportation planning manager, considers these new lanes as a small success towards a larger goal.
I mean, Franklin Street is sort of the heart and soul of Chapel Hill. A win-win-win all around. It made it safer for bikes and attracts more people to ride their bikes. It slows traffic. It makes the roads safer and more pleasant for pedestrians. I mean, it was just kind of an all-around win for all modes of transportation.
With more construction projects down the pike, it looks like UNC is about to be a lot more bike, scooter, and skateboard friendly. In Chapel Hill, I'm Halsey Ziegler, Carolina Week.
The town of Chapel Hill is seeking maintenance rights of the streets in order to build more bike lanes. If the power is transferred from the North Carolina Department of Transportation to the town, construction will continue, and Chapel Hill can anticipate a new bike share system next spring.
It's been a little over 1 year since thousands of Afghans arrived in the United States after evacuating their home country. In this series, we meet one woman sharing her story, this time about the turmoil unfolding in Afghanistan and Iran.
The world should know what is going on in Afghanistan.
Just a few weeks ago, a suicide bomber blew up an Afghan school where 19 were killed, mostly women. And it's not the first. Raihana Ahmadi resettled in the Triangle a year ago. And even though she's far away from the turmoil now, it's hard to ignore what's happening in the place she calls home.
So I was thinking, like, if I'm safe here and I can do, like, it's not something like dangerous for me to just raise my voice, why I can't be their voice?
This and other attacks by the Taliban and the Islamic State targeted her people, the Shia Hazaras, an ethnic minority in Afghanistan who have long faced discrimination and violence for their appearance, their beliefs, and their values, especially towards women.
The first rights that a woman should have, or maybe everyone should have, is just education.
The right for women's education is something the United Nations Security Council also called on the Taliban to support in a press conference on September 27th.
We call on the Taliban to respect the universal right to education, including for all women and girls.
In the safety of her new home, Ahmadi feels a responsibility to bring these injustices to light, especially as other women around the world are silenced for speaking up.
They are all raising their voice because of the women's right, because of the education.
These issues don't stop in Afghanistan. Just last month, a 22-year-old Kurdish woman was killed in Iranian custody for not wearing a hijab properly. In a press conference during his visit to the United Nations, Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi said, "I contacted her family at the very first opportunity, and I assured them we would continue steadfastly to investigate that incident." Many Afghans and Iranians have protested these incidents, but their actions could come at a cost.
The Taliban or maybe the Iran government will shoot them.
But Amity vows to stand by them no matter the distance.
They are the strongest women in the world.
Next week, we continue to hear Raihana's story and what it was like for her to leave everything in a matter of minutes to escape the Taliban's siege.
Monday kicked off Diwali, or the Festival of Lights, one of Hinduism's biggest and most important holidays of the year. The celebration takes place over 5 days and is a time of prayer, gifting, and feasting. Diwali usually coincides with the darkest night of the Hindu lunar month. There are many stories about the origins of Diwali, depending on where Hindu families are from. But there's one common theme no matter where people celebrate: light overcoming darkness and the victory of good over evil. Next week, UNC's chapter of Hindu Yuva is hosting Diwali night in the Carolina Union on Thursday, November 3rd. Tickets are for sale online and at the Union box office.
Stick with us here on Carolina Week for a look at the spooky weekend ahead after this.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
All right, welcome back. And also welcome back to the joy of weather. Every now and then we get these cool little nuggets of some cool weather going on in the area. This is a satellite photo, some of the fall colors that you can see from space in the mountains right now. And so while I didn't paint this, Mother Nature did. And if the leaves aren't colorful enough for you just yet, we've got some cool air coming in to hopefully change those leaves even more here in the Chapel Hill area. So for your forecast for tonight, we had a foggy start today, and that's due to a cold front that moved through. Cool air is moving into the area as we speak, and so our lows will be a little bit colder than what we've been used to the past couple of nights. And then moving on to our forecast for tomorrow as well, we'll be under the influence of this cold air mass still. So we'll be pummeling in some cool air from Canada due to a high pressure. It's got a clockwise flow, dragging in some cold air into Chapel Hill. So our highs will be a little bit cooler tomorrow, so make sure to bring a jacket early in the morning if you're going to be up for your classes. 52 degrees, so not a big, huge change as of yet. Some manageable cool weather for the area. Highs will be getting up into the mid-60s around lunchtime, warming quickly up to close to 68 degrees, maybe closer to 70 in the afternoon. We get some more of that heat from the sun baking us into those temperatures for the upper 60s for tomorrow. But besides that, notice we've been pretty dry the past couple of days. And looking at our drought monitor right now, you'll see that North Carolina has got some more splotches of some abnormally dry areas right now. It's creeping into the Chapel Hill area, so we need some more rain to make sure that we don't get into a drought. And it looks like we might have some rain moving in just in time for Halloween. So could have some relief from the drought. Bad news is that it could be moving in on the holidays. So if we're looking at an early forecast for your Halloween, around lunchtime, looks like the rains will be socked into the area. 66 degrees, upper 60s. If we get more rain on Halloween, these temperatures won't be as warm, so keep that in mind. And then going on to the nighttime hours, whether or not if you're trick-or-treating or throwing a party, looks like it's not going to be a great day to be outdoors, so keep that in mind for your Halloween plans as well. And looking at our rainfall forecast for Sunday into Monday for Halloween, these green areas indicate about 1/4 inch of rain. So I'm not talking about a lot. However, as the system develops over the next several days, got a couple of days to get to this point for Halloween. We could see these higher rain totals like we see over the mountains drift over towards Chapel Hill. So just make sure, bring a rain jacket when you're going to be out and about on Halloween day. Besides that, the rest of your week looks pretty great. So for today, our highs will be in the low 70s, cooling off to 51 degrees because that cold front that moved through. And then for Thursday, cooler temperatures, highs close to 70, Highs will continue to drop off just in time for the homecoming game on Saturday, 65 degrees, cooling off quickly to a low of 47. So you want to bring a jacket for the game Saturday night. And then Sunday, we got that rain showers moving in to the area Sunday afternoon going into your Halloween holiday. So guys, have a great day and happy Halloween.
Thanks, Brian. Love the costume. Looks like we've got a pretty cold weekend ahead, but nevertheless, it's packed full of Halloween celebrations. The town of Chapel Hill announced its plan for Halloween on Franklin Street. The last time Chapel Hill closed Franklin Street for Halloween was pre-pandemic, so there's definitely lots of anticipation for the return of this local tradition. Whether you're walking or driving in Chapel Hill on October 31st, it's important to keep these closures in mind while making your way around town. As we can see here, Franklin Street will be closed from Church Street all the way to Henderson Street. Church Street is right here at the corner with Target and the back entrance to Granville Towers. Further west on Franklin Street, cars will be allowed on the road. Similarly, the easternmost blockade will be here at Henderson Street. Well, it was up there, but it moved. Near the post office and Time Out. There'll also be some closures on Columbia Street and parts of other main roads like Rosemary Street. Unlike years past, the town says that roads will only be closed for an hour and a half from 8 until 9:30 p.m. this year. And you'll want to plan accordingly, not only on the road, but also with what you're allowed to wear and carry with you that evening.
That's right, Stephen. The town has 3 categories of prohibited items, and they include alcohol in open containers, weapons, even prop weapons, and drones. So be sure to not bring any of those with you when you head out in your costume.
The town of Chapel Hill also released a statement regarding COVID-19 safety. The town leadership first released its information. The CDC ranked Orange County at a medium level of community spread. But Orange County is now considered to be at a low level of community spread, along with most of the surrounding counties. The town says, quote, "We encourage our community to avoid celebrating in large crowds, even outside, and to find other ways to enjoy Halloween. Local leaders urge partygoers to consider safer alternatives to meeting in large groups and even offered resources on safe gathering at orangecountync.gov/Halloween.
Despite Franklin's closure, there are still plenty of fall and Halloween-themed activities for students to enjoy on campus. You can bake Halloween cookies and create your own 3D printed cookie cutters at Beam Makerspace tonight at 5 p.m. There's also going to be a Hallow swing dance hosted by the Carolina Swing Dance Club tomorrow, and costumes are encouraged. Also tomorrow, students are invited to paint ceramic skulls and other Halloween decor in the Union Plaza. And on Friday night, Campus Rec is hosting a Halloween glow dive at the Bowman Gray Memorial Pool and a spooky Zumba dance party in the Rams Head Rec Center.
Well, that sounds like a lot of great opportunities to get involved. I think the swing dance class, that sounds like a great time. Kelly, what are you looking forward to?
Sounds like a lot of fun. I think we're going to have to take these costumes and go do some dancing.
I agree. I like your ascot. Well, this week is packed with Halloween events, and on top of that, it's homecoming weekend.
Stick with us for more on homecoming events, games, and royalty after this.
I'm a first-generation Filipino American. You don't always feel you're a part of the country you live in. It's this weird middle space sometimes that you have to live inside of. But when you meet others that are also living in that space, you'll learn to know that it's its own unique space too.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. My service never stops.
Well, it's not just Halloween season here in Chapel Hill. This week is homecoming for past and present Tar Heels.
To celebrate, the university is hosting a variety of events throughout the week leading up to Saturday's football game. Today, the General Alumni Association is giving out free nachos in the pit. Tonight, there will be bingo, board games, and cookie decorating in Carmichael Makerspace from 6 until 8.
But that's not it. On Friday, several a cappella groups will be performing in the pit at noon for a dance party. Throughout the week, the Homecoming Committee will be giving out free UNC swag like homecoming stickers, lip balm, and more.
And several students are in the running to become UNC Royals. Reporter Taylin Kane is live in the pit to tell us about the nominees. Taylin.
Thanks, Stephen. On Monday, UNC students voted for who they want to see crowned at halftime during this weekend's homecoming game. This year, we have 5 candidates. Brittany Blitzstein is a biochemistry major and, if crowned, wants to create a workshop for students to combat and prevent harassment on campus. Tyler Clayton is an economics major and, if crowned, wants to provide relief to low-income families and fight housing inequity. Andre Bacon is a psychology and sociology double major and, if crowned, wants to create a therapy fund for students as well as a high school mental.
We apologize for those technical difficulties. Now, on Saturday, we have an exciting football game against Pitt. Let's turn now to Sports Extra anchor BJ Tillman for more.
Thanks, Stephen. Another special week for Tar Heel athletics, both on and off the field. While the football team will look to do something special against Pitt on Saturday, there are plenty of special events during this homecoming weekend. A bell tower climb will be available to the public 3 hours before kickoff during the bell tower tailgate. And with the Tar Heels ranked in the top 25 for the first time this season, the class of '97 will celebrate its 25th anniversary on the field during the game. Kickoff is set for 8 p.m. And beyond football, the regular season is ending for the second-ranked women's soccer team. The Tar Heels will head to Louisville on Thursday, hoping to end the season on a high note. The team is on a 5-game winning streak against 5 ACC opponents. UNC will rely on senior defender Tori Hansen, who has scored in each of the past 3 matches, including the decider against Wake Forest, to extend the streak to 6 games. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. And after making it to the Sweet 16 last season, the North Carolina women's basketball team is looking to build off its upward trajectory this year. The Tar Heels returned 4 of 5 starters, led by juniors Deja Kelly, Kennedy Todd Williams, and Alyssa Utsby. Kelly is fresh off her All-ACC first-team campaign when she led North Carolina in scoring with more than 16 points per game. UNC was tabbed the number 12 team in the country across preseason polls, the highest preseason ranking since 2013. Tar Heels begin their season on November 9th against Jackson State. And after a historic junior season for Armando Bacot, he has another accolade for his resume, preseason AP All-American. In his junior season, Bacot averaged 16.3 points and 13.1 rebounds per game. He led the team with 65 blocks. Bacot tied the NCAA record with 31 double-doubles and became the first player to have 6 double-doubles in the same NCAA tournament. Bacot will be a key factor for the Heels to return to the title game. And one of the many returning UNC basketball standouts may very well be the top point guard in Division I basketball. The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame seems to think so. Junior guard Caleb Love has made his way onto the Bob Cousy Award watch list for the upcoming season. The award is named in honor of the former Boston Celtics Hall of Famer and recognizes the top point guard in Division I men's college basketball. Love is coming off a season in which he improved his scoring, field goal percentage, and rebounding, and helps lead the team to the NCAA National Championship game. Love and the Tar Heels have an exhibition game Friday night and begin their season on November 7th at home against UNC Wilmington. UNC students are hands down some of the greatest athletes in the country, and their success in athletics extends globally. Sophia Godoy tells us that one senior recently competed in the Ironman World Championship.
Andrew Buchanan has been competing in triathlon since high school and decided to run his first Ironman this past summer. He finished first in his age group, and this qualified him to go compete in the Ironman World Championship held in Kona, Hawaii.
And actually, I've wanted to qualify for Kona since I did my first half Ironman in high school. So I didn't go in expecting to qualify. I just thought it'd be nice if I did.
The race consists of swimming 2.4 miles, biking 11 miles, and finishes off with a 26.2-mile run.
Great, Andrew! And I was able to do 30-mile run weeks and pretty consistent cycling mileage on top of that. So it's just building that base out. So yeah, the second race I probably averaged 16 hours a week.
He placed 24th in his division at the World Championship with a time of 10 hours, 5 minutes, and 9 seconds.
Racing in Kona was a completely different experience than the first one. For one, the caliber of the average athlete is just massively better. Like, these are the people the people who qualify for Kona have won their age group in like some of the qualifying races.
Andrew is taking a short break from training after his race, but his ultimate goal is to podium in the 18 to 24 age group. This is Sophia Godoy reporting.
Be sure to join Sports Extra on Friday, where we'll be previewing a colossal ACC showdown with the football team taking on Pitt and the field hockey team chasing perfection to close the regular season. We'll be right back.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
Sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug. You know I'm for you.
I know.
Look at the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for you. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
We've got 4 more days until one of Chapel Hill's most popular holidays.
That's right, and we asked students what they plan to be this year for Halloween.
So on Saturday, we're going to be Tweedledee and Tweedledum from the
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland cartoon version.
Yep.
And then for Franklin Street on Monday night, we're going to be the Cookie Monster and Elmo from Sesame Street.
Yep.
I'm going to be Ron Burgundy because he has an awesome mustache and wears a really cool red suit.
I am going to be Eddie Munson from Stranger Things for Halloween. My whole suite, we're all doing Stranger Things.
Well, those costumes are all great ideas, but I have to say, I think we kind of take the cake.
I think we look pretty good, but I gotta say, I really love the wig. I should get some red hair for myself.
Absolutely. Amazon, you can get some.
Well, that does it for this spooky edition of Carolina Week. We'll see you right back here next time.